Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. We are Millennial Mom. If you don't know who is who, I'm Millennial. This is Mom.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Mom or Kay from Millennial Mom, and today on this Martin Luther King Day, we're going to talk about 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, Season 7, Episode 21, Couples Tell All, Part 2. Now, I thought when I saw the tell all originally, it said tell all be like 2 series. Apparently there's going to be a continuation of the part 2, which will make it a part 3 for next week. And for me, I'm like, listen, if you didn't have all this butting in by Adnan and all this extra stuff, we could have wrapped up the tell all yesterday, but that's just me. So hopefully everyone got a chance to watch it, whether you got a chance to watch it live or on the replay. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Everyone, please don't forget to hit that like button, whether you're live or on the replay. And please don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who has already subscribed and liked the video. Thank you so much. All right. So we have Rosanna says, oh my God, I can't stand Adnan, Niles and Vanja. Okay. And hello, Miss Tamika. Hey, girl. Hey, hopefully you're warm. Everybody, where weather's coming through, hopefully you're warm, okay, and safe. And Cynthia, hello there. Hello. So, oh boy, I'm going to drop the link in just a second. Not going to keep y'all long because I don't think a whole lot really happened on this episode. It was just like a bunch of fluff that was left over from part 1. You know, I think now it's time for Sean, the host, to be replaced. Because I don't think that she's really hosting like she used to when the tell-alls first came out. Maybe she's burnt out. I don't know. You know, we needed some more structure on the show and not let the oh my gosh, the cast take over. So anyways, Tamika's 8 degrees. Well, is it 1 degree warmer than you said last week? Okay, so that's a plus, right? And Cynthia says Tamika feels like Detroit here in Houston. Ooh. Well, y'all be warm, be safe. All right, so we pick back up in part 2, and Shauna's talking with Niles and Matilda. And you know what? I'm really tired of that Adnan, because if he didn't interrupt with everybody's segment and not just talk about his own relationship, and then, you know, when he did talk about his own relationship, it's like, no, it's not like that. Miss me with that. That's what I'm saying. We need a new host to come in and help regulate, because it was just too much going back and forth. But Sean is talking to Niles about Matilda and him masking and how it relates to his autism. And Niles says, yes, I mask, but you know what? When I get down to it, I either tell the truth or I don't. It's either, you know, black or white. There's no in between with Niles. And he said, and sometimes he don't even know how to hold back. And I'm like, okay, Niles, we know that with your personality. And sometimes I think that maybe he might be using some little things as part of his autism as an excuse, but Niles has more sense than what he puts on. So I'll just go with that. So, all right. Backstage, are you okay? You let me know when you're ready backstage. All right, here we go. I wasn't sure.
Send help.
Hey?
Help. It's 8 degrees.
I was like, you in the igloo? I was like, you okay?
Listen, my furnace is not furnacing. And I think I'm going to need a new one, because it's kicking out some heat, but it ain't kicking out enough. So, yeah.
Well, hopefully you get that settled real soon, because that's terrible. Hopefully you have enough covers and gloves and hats. And
I do. Yeah, I'm good. I got my space heater on, so
okay. Yeah. All right. So what do you think about Sean letting the cast, really Adnan, just run amok. I'm like, where's the structure? Is this just like the Adnan show hosting, or like what's going on? Like, we really couldn't get to the details of all the couples. Look at Cynthia's emoji. Woo. What's that? The abominable snowman? I never seen that one before. But it's just the fact that I didn't like all the interruptions with Adnan.
Yeah,
I didn't. It's okay for the cast to talk every now and then, but not just like run the show. You know what I'm saying? But
and he was doing it on purpose because he was laughing, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna say it on here, but yeah, he was being a butthole, and I was just like, why are you? He kept doing it, and then how he was just disrespecting Mr. Ark, and I was just like calling him uncle, and I'm gonna get an outfit. Like, I was like, oh, oh, okay, right. Don't do that. Don't do that.
So one of yes, Adnan was jerky. So one of the questions was to Niles was, how do you confuse going over to meet Matilda, to visit, and going over to say you're going to get married? And so Niles admitted, just like he admitted, in earlier episodes, that, he may have not said the right thing, and that, he could have been more direct and say, you just want to come over and, get to know you. And I'm like, all that should have been discussed, because clearly, and we've said this as the season's gone along, Matilda thought that she was getting married as soon as he touched down, did the knocking ceremony, paid all this money, had the big party, and, everything was going to be all good. And I have to agree with that. It goes both ways about learning somebody's culture. You have to know what goes into the culture, what the expectations are. You know what I'm saying? So even though Miles does have, a learning disability and his autism in a way, that still doesn't excuse him for not knowing what the traditions are, especially if he knew that he would need to have money for her, money for the flight, money to bring her back here, all that stuff. So you knew what was going into this particular relationship. Hey Mo, Phil Foster Dog Mom says, careful with that space heater. Oh, for you. You need some of that hot air. Adnan was blind. Oh my gosh.
I don't want that.
Right.
I'm good. I don't want that.
Right. So when Mr. Ark does join the conversation, and we see clips of Niles ask him to step in as the father, and when the question was asked by Sean, like, how did your family take it? I mean, I don't think anybody's family would be happy about that, right?
Exactly.
Because, Niles did explain that his family thinks that Matilda is a scammer, and he's trying to play that off. And, even Brian last week was like, well, maybe, she just wants to get to America. But see, to me, Brian has no room to talk about anything. And we'll get to you, Brian, shortly. Okay. But I would be upset too, even though I didn't necessarily support my son's relationship, but how someone that really you probably don't know step in to be the father and take over responsibility for us, because in a way you didn't tell the truth up and up to everybody about what you're really doing in Ghana. You know what I'm saying? So whether you want to meet your girlfriend or marry her is two different things, right? So I don't know. I just didn't like the way Adnan came across with this segment either, especially when the money issue was coming up. Because Miles said he had, has a new, now he saved $4,000 for his part of it, but he needs another $4,000 for her part of it. And Adnan was like, do you like my family? Do you trust my family? Do you like my family? To me, that was kind of like if Niles had said yes,
he would have gave him money.
It's like, oh, wow, yeah. How can you support that?
Yeah,
with Adnan, I didn't like that. I just didn't like that at
Remember
all.
His age.
Yeah,
he's childish. He's still got what they say, the frontal lobes ain't all together.
Right. True. It's his age, but he's still very cocky though. He's still very cocky. To me, if he was older, because clearly Tigerlilly has money, and it seems like his family has money too, and just how he presents himself to be, right? So, let's see. So when was asked about, maybe getting a loan back from Mr. Ark, I said, don't ask that man for another dime. Please don't ask him for
Don't
another
ask him for
dime.
nothing. Exactly.
Right. So, but here's the thing for me though. When Adnan was it, I didn't know what to write. I don't know. I wrote down passive aggressive, but it wasn't passive because he knew what he was doing. He was just being aggressive. He was being, you know, doing conflict. And when Miles was like, "Get him on my face," I was like, please, please, get Adnan out of his face.
He's so
Get him out of his face. I don't think we ever seen Miles mad like that. Right?
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing: goes backstage to meditate. You know, Sean talks to Mr. Ark again, and you know he's saying that you know he feels like Miles should apologize and all this other stuff. I'm like, it's okay to get angry. Anger is also an emotion. It's not like he hit Adnan in the face right then and there, even though you know he probably wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Now, when Sean also asked Mr. Ark about the question, how come there's only one question? About, you know, a viewer thought that maybe Mr. Ark pushed Niles into the relationship getting married like a knocking ceremony. Did you agree with that or did you not?
Kind of, sort of, yes, and a little bit no. He just told him you know, what the customs were. And I think that, you know, with that authoritative tone to his voice, Niles probably took it as, oh, I got to do it. He was just saying, no, you can't do the knocking and come back. You got to do the knocking and the marriage now, or not do it at all. So he gave him an option.
Don't forget this part. I'm the father. I'm the father.
Exactly.
Cynthia said Adnan was enjoying Niles making faces. Yeah, he was. He really was. And Tigerlilly wasn't any better. She was sitting there smirking too. She was sitting there smirking right along with her man. I'm like, girl, your man is not the prize that you think he is.
He is not. No.
So, anyways, what you think about Matilda? Did she seem like she was upset to you? Because Sean asked her how she feel, and she said, I don't like how Adnan is talking to her man.
Yeah, I think if Matilda was there, Matilda probably would have got with him. She would have put never mind. Yeah, she would have got with him. You know how that Barbara was talking about that voodoo stuff. She would have started stirring some stuff up. But she did look upset though. But he didn't research about that K1 and that spousal visa. I'm like, when he said 4 months, 5 months, I'm like, yeah, more about 15 months.
Right.
We know. Yeah.
So when the cast go take their break and everything, Adnan and Tigerlilly, everybody go backstage, but the camera crew follows Adnan and Tigerlilly. And Tigerlilly says that, you know, Niles is like a Chihuahua, but he presents like a Rottweiler. And that, you know, Adnan called her sugar daddy. But I mean, I was like, girl, you are describing your own relationship. Yeah. Adnan acts like a Chihuahua, but presents like a Rottweiler, and you are a sugar mama to Adnan.
Yeah.
So you're projecting your relationship to the producers. So where was Adnan in the bathroom saying this? Because I don't think he would have, you know, you get in trouble with me, you say something wrong. I'm like, first of all, who are you talking to?
Right. Right.
You know, so I was like, whatever with them. She, you know, for someone who says that Tigerlilly, that she's left an abusive relationship and, you know, she would never be in one again. What does she think is happening here? She's being controlled. She knows she has to say about what she has to say and all this other stuff. So, I mean, she's not fooling nobody but herself. So, anyway.
Exactly.
So, anyway, let's see. I think that was really it with them, really. Just a bunch of back and forth with Adnan. I mean, Niles, the loan and all that stuff too. Anyways, so when the cast returns back from the break, Bozo has returned, so this meeting went well. I saw you. Okay.
Meeting in the ladies' room.
Came back.
He had a meeting in the meeting in the ladies' room. I'll be back real soon.
Okay. That's right. That's exactly what happened.
Exactly.
That's exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have Joe and Magda. We got Joe and Magda. And Magda seem like they're in an okay relationship. It still seems like there's some little tension from their relationship, because at the very end of their conversation, what they talked about that being engaged thing, he's like, well, because she's expecting it. She keeps asking me once a week. I'm like, how? If she's asking you once a week,
once a week,
that don't say green card, I don't know what does.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That just like he said, it needs to be. You know, you're not going to know when it's going to happen. Not like, oh, we getting engaged? We getting engaged? When are we getting engaged? I'm like, who's going to keep ask you to get engaged? Because now I think there's something going on. And he does. He said that even before he left to go see her, if you remember. Anyways, she finally did come to the United States, met his friends. They went out, did some activities. And she said she's still in contact with some of their friends now, but I just always thought that she had another agenda just by her being in other relationships, like her friend said before he went over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I still do think she got another agenda.
Yeah, for sure. They did show that never before scene when he missed the airplane. We never got to see it because it's like, what? He overslept or whatever. He went back to the house to get some shots or maybe some Jello shots before he had got on the airplane.
Ridiculous.
I did say that you remind me of a 17 again, that movie. That's Joe 17 again. You know what I'm saying? He needs to grow up too, for real.
He needs to grow up. Definitely needs to grow up.
Real quick, Cynthia says Matilda seems sad to me. She did seem sad, but again, you know, he's been gone for now with the taping over a year, hadn't been back. So, you know, the life you thought you was going to live, you may not, you know, it's getting shorter and shorter. Right. So, and you also said Adnan was enjoying Niles making faces. Yeah. But see, Adnan, I mean, just like when Niles got him in the back, talk about, you don't know what's really going on with this. You don't want none of this. Say it one more again, you know?
Funny.
But anyway, right. So when Brian jumped into Joey's and Magda's conversation at the end, Brian tells Joey, he's like, so, you know, what happens if Magda gets tired of waiting for a proposal? I'm like, Brian, come on, right? But Joey said, I'm not like you. I didn't propose 7 times. He didn't have nothing to say. I said, there it is. Mike.
Yeah, there it is.
You know, so I'm just like, well, they didn't have a lot to give. I don't know what there was a filler for. Oh, yes, I do. What was her name? Rayne and Chidi. They could have kept them off because they didn't bring nothing to the table.
Right.
Anyways, all right.
Nothing at all.
So let's move. Nothing at all. Let's move to Sunny and Veah. When I first saw her last week, I was like, who is that up there? I know who that was. She said when she came back to the States, her and Sunny were struggling in a relationship. I said, you were struggling when you went over there.
Exactly.
Don't make it seem like
exactly.
You came back. Oh, Cynthia says, I don't believe Joe will marry Magda. I don't think so either.
No.
I really think it's a show. Anyway, so they were struggling and they broke up. And it turns out that Veah ended up dating the person that dog sat her dog so she could go to South Africa to see Sunny. It would have been a better story if it was Rory. That's just me.
Yeah, because he looked like he was on the other side of the fence. So
that's what I thought too. I was like, him? I said no. But their date was nothing wrong with Disney. So maybe it was just like a little friendship date or something. To the happiest place on earth, right?
Exactly.
Anyways, but when Veah said that Sunny was upset about who she dated, and just like you, Tamika, I was like, why?
Right.
For what? I mean, you know,
and it was just one date. They just went out.
Right. She might as well have dated Loren. Went to Disneyland with Loren.
Oh,
same thing.
Not anyway. GB.
So, but you know, Sunny is the jealous type. We knew that when she went. But then again, Veah wasn't being honest about anything. And with her and Rory, things like that. And they couldn't even really get into conversation before Adnan jumped in about what was going on. Like I said, he's in everybody's conversation. But, you want to know about Sunny and Veah having intimacy, that's really none of his business, right?
Not at all.
You disgrace, what about the religion? What about this? What about this? What about that? I'm like, worry about your own prize, right? Go ahead.
No, I said, dude, you're doing too much, as always.
Right. And so one thing that Adnan said was, when you get jealousy, he's saying this to Sunny, when you get jealousy, her dating other men, you don't want to kill her. And I said, this is the second time they brushed over that, because that is part of some people's religion. And Tigerlilly better, if she didn't listen the first time when she was over in his country, she better be listening now, that because nothing is changing. This is how he feels. This is part of a lot of people that follow this religion believes it.
Yeah.
And if you notice,
you're gonna get stoned.
Girl. Okay. And so I was like, whoa. And so Sunny was trying to get at him, was like, I was wrong, but I love her and all this and that. However you want to tweak the reasons why to make you feel good at night, I guess. Right. But Sunny, to me, talking out of both sides of his mouth, because he's saying what his father believes and what his father expects of him. But yet he's giving that all up for Veah. But at the same time, he's not sure if he could be with Veah. He said love truly is blind here. Love might be blind, but the religion and the way he feels about it is tugging more at his heart. For Veah.
He still wants her. He still expects her to convert. And she's like, no, I'm not.
Right.
Like, you heard him. He said maybe not now, but maybe down the line she's going to convert, because she's going to, like the religion. And she's like, no, I'm not converting. And that's why she's like, okay, we're gonna have to talk about this offline, because what has changed? Because I'm not converting. So I don't see what the problem is.
Right. And covering up her tattoos now after the dad has already seen them. What difference does it make? The dad
no
don't
difference
like
at
it.
All. They still there.
Exactly, because she's not following the religion that he probably feels that Sunny would be with somebody who did, So, but so I don't think that's going to work out either. Like I said, the better storyline would have been with Rory.
Yeah,
that's just me. So, all right,
he'll be there next week.
Let's move to Brian and Ingrid. So they've been broken up since he came back to the States, and they're both in relationships with different people. Sean asked Brian if he feels that, did Ingrid try to make things work out, or I forgot how she phrased it, but kind of like putting it on Ingrid. And I'm like, I think Brian was the jerk here. Yeah. I really do.
Yeah.
From the age thing, he's like, oh, I don't know how you don't know my age, because you didn't tell me. Right. You
wasn't truthful with it.
The age thing, what all you have to do because of your disability, I wasn't exactly for Ingrid comfortable with, to finding out how many times he's proposed, been engaged, been married. Brian came with a lot of baggage, and the reason why he was in a wheelchair, just all these things that she didn't know ahead of time. So I'll jump ahead just a little bit. So when his daughter comes out, who is a year younger than Ingrid at 32, his daughter was like, oh, so what did you talk about for the 2 years you were dating? Kind of made it seem like she was manipulating her dad, when in reality, for me, Brian's story, for as much as he's been back and forth to Brazil with all these different women, and he's still not divorced from one, how are you going to put that on? That's your dad trying to be Playboy of the year.
Right? Exactly. And he's not.
And he's
not at all.
So, then they showed this scene of the lingerie and things like that. And here go Adnan. This time Tigerlilly chimes in too. It's like, girl, your cookie was falling out. I'm like, you couldn't even had your cookie on the TV, because your husband you wouldn't even be sitting here. But that's just a whole different thing. But I do agree. I think we talked about this. I do agree with that. Like if you put all that stuff on, you're going to lay in the bed. I mean, it does gives the assumption of, but you can say no at any time. You don't have to go through with it if you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
So, and apparently that's what happened. And then Brian got upset and they showed that clip. So Brian trying to make it seem like, you know, he had put lotion here, and seemed like they would get on with the show. But then he's talking about, they didn't have any condoms, but yet on the way there, they stopped by a store that was closed. First of all, why would you stop? It's closed. That's number one. And number two, how come you didn't bring any with you? Why'd you bring any protection with you?
Exactly.
For the life of someone you're going to propose to this time, even though you're still married. Bring protection, right? So he tried to put it on her, but then it turned around and was like, oh, well, after everything went down, she told me she had a boyfriend. I said, oh my gosh. She on TV and she got a boyfriend and you still got a wife.
Exactly. Y'all both out of order. Out of order. A mess. And then he tried to talk down on her because she was like, well, I don't know where he's been. It's a little too intimate. And Tamika, we talked about that when it came out, you know, about having other places too intimate on the first go round. And Ingrid talk about, you know, he could have STDs or something. Here go Loren. Ooh. GB.
I said, knock it off.
There's GB.
Knock it off. It is not a flex.
Yeah, that's nasty. Yeah, it's nasty.
And so then he tried to, you know, talk to her like, oh, so, you know, she wasn't comfortable with me jumping off the wheelchair on the curb and go, no, don't do this, don't do that. I mean, I would be like that too. I haven't been around you. I don't know if you're going to tip out or if you need help. You know, he's like, oh, she was trying to treat me like her 3-year-old. But I mean, how do I know that you really did that on purpose? You know, that you had control. I'm trying to like help you, right? And then he tried to dog her. Oh, well, she got 2 kids by 2 different kids by 2 different baby daddies. Okay, like that's a big deal.
It's not a big deal.
That's not a big deal.
It's not uncommon.
You know?
Right.
It's not uncommon. Even Matilda's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? So, I mean, Brian, he was always an ugh for me. He was always a jerk for me.
Yeah. And I don't think that she was trying to come to America. I don't think she, you know, I think she was good where she was. Because if she was, she would have been on him and asking him and everything. And I don't really think I heard her one time ask about coming over here at all. So that was all him assuming because everybody else want to come. So he is assuming that, oh, that's her MO as well. And it wasn't. I don't think it was.
Right. I don't think it was either. But, you know, if you are talking to somebody in a relation, if you think you're in a relationship, you know, conversations like that would probably come up, you know, visiting, living eventually. Right. But, you know, Brian's MO was just like, he wants to get with the next youngest, greatest, whatever, to help take care of him, you know. So, but yeah, and he just, he's not a walking ick, he's a Rolling Stone ick, like for real. He just, I don't know. I don't even know what the point of his daughter was to be on the show to even come here. She didn't help her dad's point out to me.
Not at all.
So.
She could have stayed home.
So really, that was basically the show. I was very surprised. It just wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It was like a lot of extras. And, you know, they could have put that 2 in the 3 or the continuation of this into the same episode. But next week, it looks like, I can't think of his name though. The guy that Vanja dated after Bozo. That took Bosko. Okay. It all rings together. So he made a video of their intimacy and she wasn't aware. That is horrible. Then Adnan gets into another confrontation backstage with Niles and
Okay.
whoever else, I guess. Are Loren and Faith completely broken up? So she should say yes for her sanity. Because she's starting to get tired of that and being on TV. So now it's looking like Faith card. That's how it was looking. And let's see. I think that's really it.
Yeah.
We'll see if there's any more surprises.
Rory will be there. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know what he's really going to talk about. You know, unless he proposes to Veah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And hopefully Veah's okay. I read some stuff about her. Hopefully she's okay.
Yeah. I hope so too. I really do.
Yeah.
But this tell-all, like I said, could have really been wrapped up yesterday or today, whenever you watched it. Because part one gave, and I thought, you know, two give two, but we just holding on for whatever we holding on to. So
right.
Anyways. Any final thoughts? Anybody?
No, I'm just ready for it to be over, honestly.
Same. Ready for it to be
like, okay. We're so excited when it started, and then we're like, oh my gosh, when is this going to be over? Yeah.
I know. Because it was too many episodes, too many filler episodes after Rayne and Chidi.
Yeah.
Vanja, Bozo, and Joe and Magda, they really could have wrapped this up weeks ago. So I understand they have a contract to do. So, but anyways, well, thank y'all for joining. I know it was short and sweet. Stay warm, stay safe wherever you are. And hopefully I can see you back for the first sight on Wednesday if you can. So thank you so much for joining. Everyone have a good night.
Bye.
Okay. Take care. Bye.